Hey everybody, welcome to LA Times. Today we have Sonny Boy Acosta from the Streets Ain't Loyal podcast. We also have Joe Castro, producer, one of the workers at La Cultura magazine, and movie producer. Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up, man? How you doing, dog?
How you doing, Sonny?
How you doing, Joe?
Doing
All
good.
right, guys. We sound like the Waltons, bro. That old show, everybody telling each other good night.
Good night, John boy.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're old,
You
bro.
know I'm old if I know that, huh?
Oh man, we're all old, bro. But you guys are older, bro. So, anyways,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Hey
You
guys,
can tell by all your gray hair.
just for men, brother. Hey, but here we go, guys. This is a subject that I'll start and then we'll jump in. Okay, this is a serious subject. Growing up, where I grew up, there was Chicanos and there was Mexicanos. Okay, the people that came from Mexico and Mexicans who were born here. And then growing up, going to school, we had all kinds of derogatory names for them, and they were all our own people, you know. And so we would go to school. They'd be playing soccer. We'd be playing football. They'd call us the surfers, and we'd call them, the W word, and
Yeah.
wetbacks, everything, like what I mean. So growing up, there was an animosity here because where I grew up, it's heavily Mexicano. There's other Puerto Ricans and stuff like that. Majority Mexicans. So you grow up almost with the hate for your own people, in a sense, right? So, and also growing up later on, that just carried on. You go to prison. At least in the time I was going to the joint, like I still carried that a little. But this is before I became a Christian, before I went to church, and I hated everybody. I hated blacks. I hated everybody, bro. So, not no more. I love everybody. So back then, and then later on, moving to Mexico, me and my wife lived in Mexico for a while, and we lived in Mexico, and there's beautiful people there. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of the people, they hate Chicanos. They hate Mexicans that can't speak English, or Mexicans that were born in America that predominantly talk English. So it's a two-sided ball game. Mexicans over there, generally a lot of them, they don't like Chicanos. Chicanos generally a lot don't like Mexicans. That's not everybody. So nowadays, Chicanos here, we refer and many refer to Mexicanos as Paisas, which is derogatory, right? So you guys, man, did you guys grow up like that? Like that? What's your perspective, and what were your guys' ideas growing up, knowing that you were predominantly English speakers?
Yeah, I ran into that. Because when we went to school, yeah, they used that word. The Chicanos would use that towards Mexican ones. They would use the word mojado, wetback, paisa, chuntaro. I mean, there was a lot of words. You know what I mean? But yeah, I felt that like I've been to Mexico before, and when you go to Mexico and you're a Chicano, they don't like you. They don't like you, especially when you can't speak Spanish like they do. When they call you a pocho, or there's a lot of words that they call us too, but they'll look more down on us than they will the white people down in Mexico, because they feel like we're sellouts, you know what I mean? Because we don't know the language, or we don't carry ourselves like they do, or we don't dress like they do. But it's not like, the way I see it, it's not a fault, but it's not like our fault. You know what I mean? We were raised here. We were raised with a certain style, certain lingo. Like I was in all the way until I got married. I didn't really know Spanish at all. I got married when I was 21. Then I started working warehouse work jobs, and then I started to learn because I started working with people from Mexico. So they started teaching me, Spanish. Of course, all the bad words first, but I started to learn, and my wife started to teach me. So over the years, I've learned uh, Spanish, But honestly, like back when I was younger, I used to think like, man, I don't want to learn Spanish. What for? I ain't no paisa, and I used to think that way, my mentality. But I just shorted myself some special time with my grandma and grandpa, because I should say my great grandma and my great grandpa, because if I would have knew Spanish, I would have been able to talk to them more. And the reason I say that because when I got married and years later when I learned my great grandma was still alive, I was able to actually talk to her and have a conversation. And I felt that was valuable. And I lost out of a lot of years of communicating with her that I should have had. But because like I said, I was raised a certain way without Spanish in the family. So I missed out, But I'm glad I know it now, enough to get by. But like I said, you go like sometimes when I go to Mexico, yeah, you get that look like of disgust, you know, and it's like, man, they look at the blonde guy with blue eyes with a better,
Mhm,
acceptance than they do us.
mhm, mhm. And
Me?
I wonder, Sonny, just really quick before you go on,
Huh.
and I wonder, like, when us Chicanos, when we're walking by, let's say, a strawberry field, and we see the Mexicanos down there, on their knees picking strawberries, and we look at them like, man, we wouldn't want that job. I wonder, hoping we don't give them that look too, back. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
So go ahead, Sonny. I'm sorry.
I was fortunate. My father, um, he always got along with the Paisas, the Mexicanos in the area. He'd get out there, get drunk, and bust out his guitar, and they'd be singing "Volver, Volver." Um, so I was fortunate. I get to play with the kids, and they're kids, and um, I didn't speak Spanish, and they didn't speak English, but we somehow got along and became friends, and so I grew up like that. I never looked down on them. Um, then when I hit, I guess about 17, we got in a war with the Paisa gang. Not a Paisa gang, but from a certain part of Mexico. And we got into a straight war, shootings, and everything else with these guys. And it got to the point where I hated them a little. You know what I mean? It wasn't all of them, but it's just from that Puebla. I hated them. So when I hit the system, back in my day, they used to get robbed. They would get beat up, they'd get robbed, and I was like, I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I looked at them. Those are my people. I've always felt like the Paisa, the Mexicanos have always been my people. I felt like it. Like, they're the same blood is running through my veins. I don't care what part of the region we were raised in, different. And I know they don't look at me because I had them tell me, "Oh, you don't speak Spanish? Should be ashamed of yourself." I've had that. I've seen it a lot. But in the county, I would jump for them. I would, what I mean? I'd step up for them. In the joint, the same thing. I would step up, and a lot of places would come later on and tell me, "Hey, you know what? I appreciate what you did. Man, there ain't too many people like you. They're like that step up for us, And it's because I honestly feel like there are people, but I do. Um, we call each other wets, and the homies, that are from Mexico, whether they might be from the barrio, we call them wets. We mess with them, same way they call us names. But I never really took it serious with them. But yeah, there was a lot of animosity because I see people like when I was busted. Um, if a paisa or a Mexicano called you a paisa in jail, they would. It was a sign of respect. It wasn't derogatory, and they would walk up to you and they'd say, "Hey, paisa," they want to ask a question, and I felt proud that they looked at me like their blood. So that's basically what it means. This is basically saying you're my brother. You're
Yeah.
from in Puebla.
Paisano, paisano, yeah.
You're a part of me. And they went, "Hey, paisa," like, "What's up, homie?" But then when somebody else, he would call somebody else a paisa, the homies would trip on him. "Hey, we calling me a paisa? I ain't no paisa." What the, and they would trip on him. And I was like, dude, he's giving you a sign of respect. But now it's different. I know it was there. It was changing when I got out because there started to be a lot more. They started to get established themselves. You know what I mean? Stop getting robbed, and they would take care of each other. And I've always was invited to their spreads and all that because I actually cared about them. You know what I mean? But that was because of my father. My father taught me, "Raza, raza." Period. Don't you don't look down on your people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and you know what? Something I wish I would have had that, Sonny. I didn't grow up. All my grandparents, everybody from Mexico. I didn't grow up learning like hate for them. I built that from, I think, the system and stuff like that, and perceiving that they looked at me different because I didn't speak good Spanish. But it's real funny that word paisa. Just so you guys out there knowing, you may be Caucasian or something. That word paisa, just like other words, it evolved. It used to mean like countryman. So when me and my wife first got married, that word paisa wasn't derogatory. So I would see the ice cream man coming by with the cart, the paleta man. I'd be, hey, paisa. It wasn't derogatory. But then later on, like maybe 5 years ago or so, 6 years ago, it started getting bad. And I would still, so I would still call him like, hey, paisa, and my wife would be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I didn't know, but now I'm hip to the game. So paisa is a derogatory, but also like the N word. I think Mexicans do call each other that in a joking way. Is that right, Sonny? Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. And to tell you the truth, I've had to tell even some of my own homies, don't call me that. You call me that one, you know what I mean? It's gonna be a problem. I don't like being called that word. You call me that N word, dog, I'm a trip. And I try not to, and I'll give them a warning. You don't talk to me like that. I don't like that word.
Edward, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I'm talking about the paisa word though.
Oh, the vice lord? No. If they call me, dude, I feel actually like, hey, you know what, that fool, you got love for me. I'm cool with it.
How
Yeah.
about Chicano to Chicano? If a Chicano one day paisa, like just like
It
joking
doesn't
around.
offend me. It
Yeah.
doesn't offend me.
I don't like it.
It really doesn't, because I look at that word like, hey, you call me your brother. I'm cool with it. You know what I mean?
I'm joking because Paul always calls me that all the time.
Because you are.
Yeah. And then usually I'm pushing my cart with the raspas. I'm like, oh, that's gonna call me paisa. No, but you know what, like I respect that, especially honestly, like now that I'm older, I have a special respect for the people from Mexico because man, I see them, they're hard workers. I see them out there selling flowers and selling fruit, and they're doing their thing to support their families. They're doing the job that, let's be honest, none of us three would go do. You know what I mean? And they're out there doing that job, and it's something that like I need. I need those flowers from Our Lady. I need oranges, or I need whatever. They have what I need, so I'll pull over and buy from them. You know what I mean? But so I have a lot of respect for them because they're on the hustle and they're doing what they got to do, to support their families. So yeah, if I wouldn't be disrespectful to them whatsoever, you know what I mean? But I know the way they treat us when we go to Mexico, and I see the way they look at me. I see the way, especially when they start to talk to me, and I can't keep up with that fast dialect that they use. And when I can't keep up, and I'm like sitting there, they're like, oh, you can see like they want to just come off and call me a Pocho or whatever. And but it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Yeah.
We got,
Go ahead, son.
I think we got more in common with them than people realize. These guys are hard workers. The Paisas are hard workers. You can't take that from them. But what do? A lot of them will sit there and go buy a truck, put rims on it, put a system in it, and they spend their money, and then they live in a small home. Chicanos do the same thing, but they buy a Regal, buy laces, buy a system, and they live in a small home instead of putting towards their family. So we got a lot more in common than they realize, because we do the same thing.
You're right.
We work hard, but at the same time, we want to party hard.
Yeah. Enjoy life. And I've seen like my wife, she's from Texas, right down at Laredo. And I go down there and there's a lot, like the majority of the population there is Mexican. And you see like there's a certain part of town where the houses are kind of like run down, they're not fancy. Then they have like an expensive part of the area, just like anywhere else. But we drive through there through the poor area, and the people are out there and they're cooking barbecues, they got their music on, but they're enjoying life, man.
Yeah.
They're enjoying life. They're not worried about that they have the car or the furniture or the house or the clothing, like name brands. They're not like on that, like, I gotta do what my neighbor does type thing. They're just out there with like simple cooking chicken, carne asada thing together with their family, embracing each other, having a good time, making memories, and just going all out on having and enjoying their life. you know.
That's right.
And I respect that, man. I respect that because I see that. I'm like, man, you know, like us, like people over here, and like even California is like I think one of the worst. Where yeah, we want to have people over, but first we got to clean and we got to buy these new tables and we got to let me go get my new clothes and we got to like everything for to impress or to keep up with the Joneses. You know what I mean? And like I said, I respect the way they just live their life.
And we only have hot dogs.
Yeah, there you go.
Because you can't afford the asada.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. And a change I really seen, and this really got me thinking. And I think Joe, you kind of got me into this a lot. And we're talking about a similar movie, but the thing that changed a little bit for me was recently when Paleta, the ice cream man, started getting robbed. I noticed that more than ever, Chicanos had stood up to defend those Mexicanos, or what people would call Paisas, pushing the ice cream carts, the corn carts. So do you think there was a change at that time where Chicanos finally said enough is enough? These are our people. Do you think that situation helped, you know, secure that they are our people, or what do you guys think?
My opinion is that well, from just for me, I've always felt that way. You know, before this stuff was happening, I always looked at them and saw that they were hardworking. I always respected that. You know what I mean? But when they were getting robbed, that just all that did was fire me up. You know what I mean? That just got me to be a lot of anger came out of me. You know what I mean? Because I felt like I see them as being like they were victimized. You know what I mean? I felt like these people they come from Mexico and like the ones at Home Depot and stuff like that, they might not have the proper documentation to be here. So they do the jobs like this and they don't get caught and sent back. So I felt like they were victimized by these people because they felt like, oh, they ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't gonna call the cops because they're illegal, you know. And probably in their head they were thinking, oh, these wetbacks, you know what I mean? We're gonna take their money and they ain't gonna do nothing about it because they're illegal and they'll get caught and sent back to Mexico or whatever, you know. And I felt like, man, and I felt like maybe they were like that. Maybe they felt like there's probably been a lot of them out there that they got robbed and they don't say nothing because they will be deported. You know what I mean? And so I hate when people get victimized like that. Like I don't care what color, they could be black, Mexican, white. When the alpha dog comes and just preys on the weak, I hate that, man. I hate that. I'm not saying they're the weak, but I'm saying they're like vulnerable because they can't call the authorities because they're scared to call the authorities. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I just, yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, I think I think that those robberies and everything that was happening, I think that was an eye opener for our people. Um, because our people did, our Chicanos started to step up for the Mexicanos and started to, hey, those are our aunts, those are our brothers or sisters or our moms, our dads. Um, and I think it was an eye opener to a lot of people because even there was one where this kid, he was a Raza robbing another a Mexicano for his elotes or something, and some other Chicanos got a hold of him, beat him down in front of everybody, and I think it sent a message that they those are our people now. You're not gonna it's not acceptable to do what we used to do to them. It's not right. I think we're starting to evolve Raza little by little. I think we're moving up and starting to realize, hey, these are all our people. It's not,
Yep.
and even now it's like it's not even just Mexicans. It's Mexicans, Salvadoranians, Honduras. All of us are considering Raza now. We're all considering ourselves Raza. I think it's
All Latinos.
yeah, all Latinos will start to group together little by little, and I think it's a good thing. I think maybe these robberies needed to happen to get us to get together and realize that we are one people.
Yeah, they are. They are, and we are. They are beautiful people, man. And my neighbors. I think about them as you're talking, Sonny. I'm picturing my neighbors. Across the street, there's some people with chickens. A lot of people in the house, and you know, and I'm like, man, beautiful people, man. I just those ice cream men that come by. I'm blessed. The paleta man comes by all the time. I'm blessed, bro. One thing I have one issue. The house has like 42 cars, bro, and they're always parking in front of my house. Park way down the street, bro. So other than that, nah. Hey, so bring it home, Joe. What's your parting last thoughts, man?
My last thoughts are we need more unity. You know what I mean? Amongst our I hate to say like, our people, because we need to unify as just human beings in this world. You know what I mean? Whether you're brown, white, black, yellow, red. I mean, we need it, but the topic today is our people, the Raza, the Paisas, the Chicanos, whatever you want to call us, the Pochos. Um, we just need to be more united and show love for one another, because in this world all we have is each other, and we need to stand up and protect each other, respect each other, and love on each other. And if we do that, then we can switch it later to others, and to where we can be united as human beings.
Honey?
I think I don't think it was just an eye opener for our people, but I think it was an eye opener for the Mexicanos and the people that were getting robbed. They because our Chicanos, our us Pochos, donated money, went out there to support them. We went to rallies for them. We tried to get them permits up in Orange County. You know, we pushed for them to have all these things, and I think a lot of them realize like we're not the enemy anymore. We're trying to be, we're trying to show you we're all together. So
Yeah.
I think it was the eye opener for both of us, I mean them and us. And I don't ever like saying that because to me we're all one. So I just think it was an eye opener for everybody.
Yeah, and hopefully we all look out for them, We all look out for them. Those people, they may not have a car. You may see them walking by your house with groceries, and where you or I, we could drive to the store, and they're walking maybe a couple miles to go get, milk and eggs, and, just show them that little respect, man. Let's try to make a change, everybody, and do a little more for our people, man. There are people, and they're beautiful people. We have a beautiful heritage, bro, from the Aztecs, the Incas. I mean, South America, Mexico, Guatemala, man. We have such beauty, such a beautiful heritage, bringing so much to the world, chocolate, you know what I mean? So, man, it's just a beautiful discussion, man. And I'm glad we had this talk, bro. And
Me
I
too,
know I
man.
already went through one last thing, but any last words, guys?
Yeah, if you're gonna help out the Raza and give them feria, money, whatever, try not to record yourself, man. Do it with a humble heart. Do it without wanting recognition. You know what I mean? That's just what I think. You can go give them some money, give them. You don't have to be, with your phone. Hey, I'm gonna give them $3, and you know what I mean? Like, just do it with your heart and let God. God sees everything, and God will bless you for what you're doing without having to get the press for it. You know what I mean?
I just want to say Viva la Raza.
Uh, all right, guys, we're gonna be heading out, and for those of you watching, I'm sorry we had a picture with Big Joe and West Coast Graffiti. They had tight pants on with their cowboy boots, but
They have
unfortunately,
49er jerseys.
he had a 49er jersey. He got
Tied up,
deleted.
tied up in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. We're showing off the midriff.
Hey, but it accidentally got deleted. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, yeah. I don't know why Paul's and Sonny's picture got deleted too.
Órale.
Not everybody's meant to wear a thong.
Oh, Spencer. Hey guys, but as always, man, let us know in the comments subjects you would like us to talk about in the coming weeks. We got some written down that a few of you asked about, particularly the effects of our families when we go to jail and join gangs and all that. We'll get to those stuff, and then follow Sonny on the Street Saint Loyal podcast. Follow him on Instagram. Follow Joe on Instagram. And also, he's a producer, also at La Cultura magazine. Joe, what's the website, or where do they follow you at?
Yeah, just La Cultura magazine, or you can go on Instagram, the official Big Joe.
All right, guys. Well, anyways, we're signing out. Please take a second to hit the thumbs up, subscribe. We'll be back soon. God bless.